Good morning, Mr. Kai or Asen. I have told you about my son and his best friend, Josh Soto. I've told you about what happened that day when both were shot. It was one of my very first videos for this year. A couple of weeks ago, I entitled it A Tale of Three Sons. Now, there's the 29 of you who actually watched the video, but I'm hoping that more people who are familiar with me through these videos are familiar with Josh because I've mentioned him often. And Josh is known throughout certain parts of Philadelphia. He's certainly known to people that I speak to because I mention him in his YouTube videos put up by his parents, one of which you're about to see. I mention that every chance I get. Little context. Josh was an ice dancer. He was extremely talented. Ice dancing has always been my favorite Olympic sport, and Josh was Olympics bound. His funeral, his celebration of life, his viewing, his celebration of life, was attended by many hundreds, including people from across the pond, because he was well known in England. I mean, he was an absolute talent and just an effusive, wonderful, generous, and godly man. So that's context you need to know as you watch this video, and I introduce you to Josh Soto.
My name is Joshua Anthony Soto. I'm 18 years old and I just recently graduated from high school. I'm 6 foot and 1 inch tall. My name is Joshua Anthony Soto. I'm 18 years old and I just recently graduated from high school. I am 6 foot and 1 inch tall. I currently live in the Juniata Park section of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My love for skating began very soon after I got onto the ice on my 10th birthday after my dad took me for a surprise. Boy was I surprised. I've never really seen much of figure skating or ice skating in general. Just growing up, it was a lot of very local sports. He got me good because I was really surprised. I got him to take me every weekend after that just because I was so mesmerized with the cool tricks, spins, and jumps that the other skaters would showcase in the rink. After some convincing with my parents, I got them to sign me up for some group lessons when I was about 12 years old. And I started doing some moves in the field, a little bit here, a little bit there. I knew that like many people who look like me don't necessarily have the opportunity to go out and do a lot more with the sport. Honestly, I didn't really care what the odds were or the outcome at the time. I just wanted to keep fueling my passion. I quickly found out that training and everything like that would be countless hours. Just completing repetitive exercises each and every day would really help with, just being a better. I can't even freaking speak, bro. What the I'm not doing.
His his viewing, his celebration of life, was is one of the most memorable, transformative moments in my life. My son was in the hospital. My wife was with my son. Somebody had to be there. I did not know anyone else in the family, and I stayed all the way in the back row because I just kind of wanted to fade into the into the furniture, into the surroundings. But it wouldn't have been right for me to just sit there and not go up to the coffin and pay my respects. And when I did, the family asked me, "Who are you?" And I told them, and I was feeling extremely guilty and really bad about myself and my family, because through Josh's friendship with my son, Josh wound up being used by the Lord to save my son's life. I've explained this before. If he hadn't come that day and he was about to break off his friendship with my son, if he hadn't come that day, if he hadn't decided to run out the back, if he hadn't actually lived, even though he had a bullet in his heart, if he hadn't actually lived long enough to jump the neighbor's fence, land in the neighbor's yard so that the neighbors would actually call the police, and the police came and would investigate it and found my son bleeding out next door, my son would be dead. So, praise to God. Thank you, Josh. I went to that celebration of life. I was in tears. I just didn't want to be there, but I did want to be there. I didn't want to be noticed, is what I really mean to say. And the parents, and I spoke to Josh's brother. They just held me while I cried and cried and cried, and everybody could see it. And now his parents are my family, mi familia. So there's a story of Josh Soto. Please look him up. You watched the video, but go to that video on YouTube, Josh Soto Ice, because Ice stands for, there's a number of Josh Sotos on YouTube. Josh Soto Ice. Like, comment. It's not mine. His parents put that up. And thanks. Peace. 4 fingers.